All right, what is up, guys? I wanted to do a video for you today that is going to show you or keep showing you the power of using Nansen. I know a lot of you have it out there, and for those of you that don't, what this channel is about is like tracking smart money, tracking top 100 wallets, tracking whales, that sort of thing, even institutions. So what we do, or what I do, is I try to find tokens every day that are getting volume. You know, it's the active token that, you know, you don't have to wait on these other tokens that are just doing nothing. You're looking for the one that has the most activity, right? And I'm going to show you how to find this by using Nansen. I do believe it's the most powerful app for crypto, and none of this is financial advice. Just want to put that out there ahead of time. You know, you still need to be in control of your own investments and learn to do this for yourself, or you can join our community. I mean, I do have a Discord. You'll see in the description below if you want to join that. So we track Nansen, we track Moni, we track Engineering Robo AI. You've seen me talk about those in my Twitter before. The only reason I mention any of those to you is so that you can use the same tools that I can. You know, if you don't like any of this, then, you know, maybe this isn't for you, and that's fine. But for those that this really hits home with, I think that you will find value in it. So let me start by talking about the stablecoin exchange flow. I've had a few people on my Twitter talk about how they really like to look at that. They like when I cover that. So we'll talk about it here real quick at the jump off. Back on the 27th of March, you can see the balance started to really drop, and it flattened out a bit. There was some indecision, and then the balance dropped again, pretty much until now. And what that means is there's stable coins that are coming off of the centralized exchanges and going to people's cold wallets. And so they're just storing their stable coins until, you know, the market gets bullish again. And so here it was clear, you know, it was dropping. And then the reason I call this indecision is because it was, you know, there's a little bit of a bump here. It pushed up a little bit, but mostly this was just sideways. And, you know, it's just a lot of indecision. People don't know what to do. They're waiting for the market to get bullish again. And then whenever, you know, something like Bitcoin finally does break out, like here was the March 27th thing, you know, people thought that it was going to keep falling, and it did. But if you look back at the stablecoin exchange flow on the 21st of April, what happened there? Yeah, that's when we started. That's when there was a big, you know, a big move up. And so everybody started getting excited again because there was this breakout. It got above it, and, you know, everybody was correct that it kept going. Now we're watching for one more pullback, I believe, before a much bigger move. And most of these moving averages are around, you know, 92 to 96K. So I do believe that can happen. But for now, we're holding this 18 EMA or SMA right here. But going back to the stablecoin exchange here, you can see, or exchange flow, you can see here on the 14th of May, it started coming back down again. And I think what that represented, where's that at? Right about here. I think what that represented, either they got scared from this big move down here, you know, it did a wick right here, or it was because this was a major resistance area. So you had people taking profits here because they thought it was going to go ahead and pull back immediately. And I kind of thought so too. But we did have one more push up, and I think that pullback could be happening now. So it did have one more little move up to grab liquidity, which market makers tend to do a lot. And then now you've got a lower high. And actually, I haven't looked at MACD in a while. Yeah, you got a MACD cross down right there. You've got lower highs on RSI. So yeah, I think it would make sense for this to come down, you know, somewhere into here. But first, it has to start closing below this this 18 SMA. I think it's the 18. Yeah. And this is something we cover in our Discord, which we will be closing the Discord soon for a couple of months. We have proprietary information and things that we don't, you know, want anybody to have access to outside of the group. So, you know, if you want that information, you'd have to join us. But I'm going to share as much as I can with you here. So still expecting a pump just overall, you know, from the macro perspective. And, you know, I do expect the stable coins to start being put back onto the exchanges so that people can buy. Just remember, in general, when you're looking at the stablecoin exchange flow, if the yellow line, which is the balance of the inflow and the outflow for the day, if the yellow line's coming down, that means people are risk off, you know, for the most part. and they're taking the stable coins off the exchange. If it's coming up like it was doing here, then that means people are risk on. So that's all you really have to remember. And I would say just in general, if the line is below, this like light blue and purple midline right here, like it is over here, then that's very bearish in terms of people having stable coins on the exchange. So just think of it like a chart, really. So once this starts pushing back up and gets above like 63.5 billion, then people will already be in the process of buying a lot more. All right, here's some more. We talked about token Netflow, and I'm going to show you some new things with Nansen here I think you'll be really excited about. But we had talked about token Netflow in one of my Twitter posts recently, and I'm going to show you the reason why I'm able to find these alerts so soon. I did a video not long ago on how to set your own alerts on Discord if you want, or even on Telegram. I like it on Discord better though. It just seems to work better for now. But SYRUP was one that had an alert, and I just posted it on Twitter today, right here. So here's the alerts, what they look like on my Discord. And the first alert came in, saying that there was a lot of volume coming in right here on this red candle. And then a few days later, Engineering Robo actually gave an AI buy signal. But the main thing is that this was about a 350% move from this bottom. So it was a really easy, you could see inflows were $304,000 that day. And it was actually just one buyer. So this was the support at the time, and then that buyer pushed this all the way up in one single candle like that. So this was your indication that this token was going to be hitting everybody's radar because there was a massive whale that purchased it. And we can actually go back and we can look at that candle. So this is one of the new features, by the way. I'm going to let that load up. But this is one of the new features. It's like a candlestick. What do they call it on here? It'll pop up here in a second. Anyway, you can look at individual candlesticks and see who bought or who sold, if there was a massive candle down. Let's see, what are we on? The daily. I got to find the right place. I think is it this one? Hang on, let me get the right date. Okay, so that was April 9th. So you have to be using Nansen's, yeah, there it is right there. You have to be using their website to be able to see things like this. But what you would do in this case is you would go up here to Candle Inspector and you would click it. And so now it's on. And so if I was to click that same thing on April 9th, it's only going to show me the people that were buying and selling on that day. And we can narrow it down and say, okay, here was the big buyer right here. And they've got a really good wallet, 100% win rate over the last 90 days. They're probably not trading too many. Oh, they actually had 0 trades, so never mind that. But they are up 52K over the last 90 days. Without looking into their wallet, what this tells me is that these are unrealized gains, most likely. But I'd have to look more closely into it. I don't know if that's a realized gain or not. Maybe they had bought much earlier and were just adding to their position. So you can see here they still have 100% tokens remaining. So actually they didn't sell any. So yeah, I really do think that's unrealized gains. And they're up almost 100K because they bought the very bottom, basically. So, if this was a wallet that you wanted to track, all you'd have to do is click in and you would manage the label, name them whatever you wanted to name it. You'd add it to your watch list. And then once you added it to the watch list, you could go over here to Smart Alerts, and then you create a new alert. And I know I'm going through this fast, but then you'd go to token transfer, and whatever you labeled them, like if you labeled them a custom label, maybe it was good or high quality, or I've got one here called Kung Fu Grip, somebody that holds onto their tokens for a long time. But whatever you name them, you could select that custom label. And then now when you set this up on Discord, you have to go through all this. Maybe you want to watch to see if they have $100 or $500 minimum in USD value that they've purchased before you get an alert. And so any token that they buy, as long as it's within the threshold that you've set, it'll actually show up on your Discord. You can be a private Discord, just for you to set up these alerts. And it's really easy. I'm going to post the link to the video I did on how to set this up. That way you've got access to that. So anyway, it's very easy. You set up these wallets that you want to track, then you set up your alerts and you're done. But yeah, the candle inspector, again, just click there. And now you can see every person that bought that day, or if you want to see who was selling, which that would have been a bad time to sell, but there's some sellers here as well. Anytime you see these little bots next to it, that's usually a market maker. They provide liquidity. So, the first two don't really matter, I don't think, but you got some other people that were selling that day too. But that would have been a really bad time to sell. Just understand there's always winners and losers, right? I mean, people do sell the very bottom. It happens. But hopefully they do better next time. Okay, so let's look at one more feature that's brand new. And I love this feature. Actually, that's a really good one we just looked at. But I love this feature as well, where you can look at the top 100 addresses, smart money, public figures, whales, and exchange volume. And you can look at the distribution score that Nansen has given it. So this is a highly centralized distribution. It means just a handful of wallets hold most of the supply. Sometimes that can mean it's a market maker, but you are seeing a lot of high percentages here. Probably anything over 3% is pretty high, but these are exchanges that are holding those percentages there. Anytime you see the little purple exchange thing, like there's Gate.io, there's Falcon, I don't know that one very well, but there's Binance right there. So to provide liquidity, they have to have a lot of tokens as well. But you've got quite a few investment recipients here that have over 1.5%. That's still quite a bit of tokens. It's like 20 million tokens. Here's a whale down here. So what you'd be looking at here, this is a brand new dashboard. I really think it's going to change the game for a lot of people. So if you use Nansen already, or if you're thinking about getting it, definitely get good at using this. But I'm just going to briefly go through it, and we'll go over it more and more each week. So you got all these little tabs up here that you can click on. The first one is the top 100 addresses, and if you ever need any guidance, just hover over these little information icons here next to the name, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. So for example, highly decentralized distribution. Does it actually show it on there? I think that's an auto red flag. It's not hidden concentration. It's a highly centralized distribution. But you can actually click on this as well, this little arrow, and see the supply held by the top holders is 34%. Total holders is 6,300. Not many fresh wallets. That's probably where it's getting the highly centralized signal from here. That usually you want to see more and more fresh wallets show up, but price went up regardless. So there's different little things down here you can click. You can look at balance, how, as the balance, which is the yellow line, increased, the balance front ran the price on this one, right? You have to pull supply off of an exchange to create supply shock so that when, more and more people are buying, it pushes the price up more and more. So it was almost like a lagging effect, right? You had a little pump here by, whoever was buying, and as it kept climbing, then price kind of started following it, and you'll see that a lot. Total flows, you're looking here at kind of like what we look at on Stablecoin indicator that we were looking at before. As you see more incoming volume to people's wallets, so the incoming is much higher than the outgoing. That means people are taking more of the tokens off the exchange and transferring them to their wallets. That's what happens when you buy something. So you exchange like USDC for the SYRUP token, and in exchange, you get the SYRUP token to your wallet. And so these big green bars mean there's a lot more buyers than sellers, and you saw that here. But it's much easier to see it on Netflow, so just click Netflows, and you can see the red candles were much smaller than the huge green candles, and there's been more and more here. So if you started, you can use this to buy and sell, is the best part of it. So if you see these huge green candles, especially when price is near a support level, then, maybe that would signal to you to go ahead and buy some as well if you're seeing whales buying. And we'll look at those here in a second. But the thing to watch for selling is if you start to see some big red candles like this one, there was obviously somebody taking profits on this little peak right here or back here. Of course, this was at a bottom, so I wouldn't have sold there. This is the time to accumulate when you're near support. But if you start seeing some red candles here that are fairly big, especially when it's pumped a ways, then that would tell you maybe it's time to take some profits. We can look at smart money. I'm gonna try to go a little bit quicker here. It's got all the same, actually there's number of holders down here. That's a little bit different. You can see the number of holders if they're increasing. Here's the same balance thing. So smart money wasn't accumulating the same way that top 100 addresses were, right? It actually turns out that smart money was selling their position as it went down. And that means the number of holders should have gone down. It went down a little bit there, but it jumped temporarily by about 4 or 5 new holders here. And then it dipped and it came back up. So right now there's about, 18 holders. There's 71% less activity for smart money right now. And then the net flow should show that. Yeah, so you're seeing a lot of red candles. Remember over here on the top 100 addresses, we've got a lot of green candles, right, on net flow. Well, it's just the opposite for smart money. They're taking profit. So smart money is generally what you want to follow on, especially taking profit. But top 100 addresses tend to get in earlier. So, watch for those, watch for that flow, kind of jump between these different tabs and see which one tends to get into the position quicker. Here's a different view we haven't seen much of. These are public figures. And they mostly sold the bottom, but looks like one person, it must be this guy Chicken Genius here that bought, because they're up 115K. So they bought a large amount here and they started taking a little bit of profit here. You can see here, they received 2.66 million and they've sold 1.76, I think, cent. Oh, this is sent to the wallet. Well, wait. Total number of tokens sent from this wallet. Yeah. So this is them selling. So they're sending it to the exchange to sell in exchange for whatever USDC or, whatever they want. Here's the whale tab, which is another big one. Look at this massive green candle. I mean, whales have a lot of money, right? So you do want to check these every once in a while along with the top 100 address. Really, the top 100 address tab is my favorite one right now after this new upgrade that Nansen did. I love this so much that you can see all this together. So this is the net flow. Not a whole lot of whale activity here. I mean, they're kind of buying, selling. Number of holders has steadily risen since the bottom. And this is what you want to see, steady rise. And the balance has steadily risen as well. I mean, look at that. If you would have just taken, if you would have bought some when the balance yellow line here crossed the price line, I mean, that would have been an amazing buy for you. And now the price line is crossing below the balance line. I mean, this is a signal that you could use in real life. Just check it once a day or something. Or if it's a token that just launched, you may have to check it every hour. And then we've got an exchange tab here. This is going to show the opposite, right? It's going to show tokens leaving is a good thing. You want to see tokens leaving the exchange. I think that's the way to read this one. I'm still kind of getting used to it. Let me just read this real quick. So this is the total tokens held in centralized and decentralized exchanges, so CEX or DEXs. Net flows are mostly negative right now. So that means, so you've got all your exchanges right here. And currently, let's just take one for an example. Last 24 hours, Binance has sent, I think, 7.6 million. It's a change in token amount over the last 24 hours. So yeah, that would make sense. So that means people are buying it on Nansen. It's going to their wallet, so it has to exit the exchange, right? And that's why you're seeing these negative net flows right here. Tokens are coming off the exchange, going to the holders' wallets. So this is the exact opposite of these other tabs here. Number of holders is increasing. I mean, that was for net flows, it being the exact opposite. But when it comes to number of holders, it's going to be the exact same thing. You want to see number of holders increase. and then balance, you want to see it increase as well. So net flows is the only thing that's the exact opposite. So strangely enough, here's a couple of massive green candles where, somebody was actually selling a lot on the centralized or decentralized exchanges right when this first pump happened. So they just got scared, right? And then you had another person that was buying a lot here. So, somebody got scared here, wanted to take profits real quick. Could have been the same person, that bought here and sold here. Maybe they just wanted a quick win and they were, moving on to the next token. But you can change this to any, you can look at 24-hour, you can look at 30-day. I would recommend, zooming out first, and then if you want to, dial in a little bit. But, something like 24-hour or 7-day would be good for a brand new token launch. And let me show you one of those while we're talking about that. Maybe Trenches. Yeah, let's look at Trenches here. And I really need to get in this. I'll get into this here in a second. Token Netflow. It's very powerful. This is the first thing I started using when I used Nansen back in 2023 for the first few times. Because Nansen has evolved, this was one of the major features of it at the time. But I'm going to show you how to use that. Really what you're looking for, and I'll get back into Trenches here in a second, but really what you're looking for is anything over 50K volume is interesting to you. You could look all the way down to like 10K volume over the last 24 hours, and you may find some, and I don't know, maybe I should look at a couple like that. I'm just trying to see if there's anything here. Well is one that we like a lot. It's not a brand new launch or anything, but we could try to find maybe something like Fifi. I'm always looking for tokens that have an interesting name. Dizzy. I'd like to find some brand new launches. That would be great. But what this is tracking is smart money activity and even fund activity. But I really wouldn't look at anything under 10K, I don't think. There's just not enough information usually. What else do I want to look at? Maybe Pepu. Vader, I know that one launched a while back. I'm just opening these up on a different screen, and then we'll look more closely at them. Buddy, I think that was a big one. Okay, so we're back here on the first page. So let's look at the Trenches first. Yeah, the Trenches. So what I'm going to do is I want to first show you how good these alerts are on my Discord. So if I go here and I paste this Trenches contract address, and then I'm searching back on all of my Discord that I've created for the members, and I'm seeing the first alert that I got here. And, I've got coded alerts on here that you can go over here. It's like if there's one buy, early alpha, like one of our wallets that we track like 500 different wallets. So if there's a single buy, two buys, more and more of these show more conviction. So here was the first buy, 1x buy early alpha. That means one of our wallets that we track bought, and they bought it at 1.71 million. This was back on 227 yesterday, and the very first inflow alert that we got was 214. What did I say? 227. So 227 and 214, that's what we're looking for yesterday. I want to get rid of this volume. So that was the 27th. So it was right in here, one of these three candles, any of those you could have bought. So clearly you would have made a 3x right there. It's pretty easy, 3x. Because it was around anywhere from 001 to 002, and it went all the way to 006, I believe. Well, no, it kept going, didn't it? So if you would have held, and we've got different videos. This is only for people that are interested in joining my Discord that don't want to do their own alerts. But in our DGen chat, in the pin section, I've got a bunch of different videos on how to play these new launches. And they are risky. I'm definitely not going to sugarcoat that. They're definitely risky. But, there's many that you can make, if you're a very active trader, and if you use the videos that I've done, there would have been no reason to exit this position until maybe it got over here or something. because the structure wasn't lost. But I have like a MACD, volume, there's multiple things I look at to see if I want to get into a play first of all, and then how to get out of it. So there's a lot of videos on that Discord that you could watch and learn how to play these degen plays or a brand new launch. So yeah, clearly this actually ended up being a much bigger win than I thought, but it was either like a 6 to a 9x on this one yesterday. Just wanted to show you that these alerts work. Here we are a day later, and Trenches is one of the top 24-hour Netflow tokens. And I'm not saying every single one of them are going to be easy like this. It's just like anything else. You got to put the work in, and you're going to have losses, but you try to keep those losses small, and then you try to make the big wins. So Trenches definitely showed up on our Discord server, but we can look at some of these other ones that just showed up in real time here on the token Netflow that are not on the top page. They're not on the top 10 list, and see if they're moving as well. Well seems to be putting in a bottom here, or has been for a while. We've been accumulating this one on base, but if we go onto Discord, and the reason I'm showing you this is so that you see how the alerts work. I've got a different type of alert here that tells me if the top 25 holders balances increase or decrease. I've probably got some more different types of alerts here. Let me just see. I just want you to know there's different things you can do like that. I think that may be the main one I'm watching on this one. And actually what I'm curious about is when this bottom happened right here on the 9th of April. Oh yeah, I've already passed that. Yeah, so it looks like the only alert I have set up for this one is just to let us know when the top 25 holders buy or sell. And so if we, think about that, going back to the holders tab here, this new, it's still under beta, but everybody has access to it now if you've got a paid subscription. This holders beta where it shows you the top 100 addresses, we can actually look at this in real time and say, okay, well, not in real time, but look back here on the date that happened. I got to go back 90 days. So that was April 9th. So here's the very bottom. This was the support level before a pump. And what we're looking at here is the top 100 addresses. Balance is increasing, the whole time from 23rd of March, which there was a bottom being formed all the way through here. You can see the price. So March 11th to April 9th, those 2 dates were a double bottom. And from March 11th, balance was climbing and climbing and just real steadily. So you're seeing a steady climb. People have already made a decent profit off of this. So there's probably some profits being taken here, and we can look at the net flows. Actually, I'll take that back. It looks like there's more and more buying happening here. So that kind of coincides with what I just showed you, where we've got top 25 holder alerts showing that people are buying, or it'll show when people are selling, it'll say the balance has dropped. But right here it says balance has increased, balance has increased, balance has increased. So I think that's really helpful to look at different alerts like that. You don't have to just watch a single wallet. Smart Money's not really doing much with it. In fact, you had a massive Smart Money sell right here. So we can go to our number of holders and see how many holders we have. There's about 13 currently, but it's kind of flat. Not a whole lot of interest from Smart Money right now. Public Figure is kind of the same thing, not much interest. Well, it has increased a little bit. Balance is fairly flat though. There's probably just 1 or 2 of these public figures that are actually buying. Here's one right here. Somebody named Rotate. Yeah, that's pretty much all it is right now. Well, here's another one within the last 30 days called Invisible Friend. So not only is this person a public figure, but they're also a Smart Money trader if they have this little Smart Money with the glasses emoji next to it like that. So it's probably a pretty good wallet. You might want to look into that one. Okay, trying to go fast for you here. Here's Whales. And we've got, token balances increased as price was increasing. Actually, it happened right before it. So you can see how, if you would have put all this together, and I'm trying to go back 30 days to see what it looked like. Well, here's the 180-day view. But anyway, if at the time you saw something like this, you felt like you were close to a support level on the chart, and you saw a massive increase in whale activity in just a few days, then that would signal to you that, hey, maybe I want to buy some as well. And price has slowly crept up since then for about a 2x. Okay, let's go to some that are more, current. I think, how old is this one? Oh, okay, this one's not a brand new launch. So volume's really doing nothing right now. You want to see a lot of volume activity. We're not really seeing it right now, but we can still jump over to the holders and just see what's going on. Top 100 addresses is up 10%. Smart money's up 244%. There's definitely interest going on right now. There's people interested. As price is coming down, you've got some massive volume coming in from the top 100 addresses. Let's see. Yeah, so the balance is increasing while price is dropping. Remember, that's exactly what we saw on some tokens that went up, that increased in value. Look at this massive smart money interest, a big balance increase. They're buying more. That's what the yellow line is, as price is coming down to a support level. So this could indicate that this one's ready to, make a move over the next couple of days. It's pretty flat for whales, not much activity, but that's fine. And then let's just see what's happening with the exchanges on the net flows. Yeah, here's a big buy that must have happened. Somebody bought tokens and they went from the exchange to their wallet. So if you see a red candle like this at a support level coming off of the exchange, red candle means it's going to somebody else's wallet. And I'm trying to see who that might be. It could be this. Well, it looks like it happened on Uniswap. So this was on a DEX. So whoever bought it on a DEX. Probably the smart money. Well, no, it wasn't the smart money. I don't know. It's hard to say who it was exactly, but you could figure it out if you took some time. It wouldn't be that hard. So FEFE, maybe this is the one you want to look into. This is Pepe Unchained. I'm going to go much quicker through this so I don't spend too much time on it. You should understand how to use it now. Whale activity has increased by about 65x roughly, 65,000%. Sometimes these take a little bit of time to load up, but there we go. Top 100 address, as price is coming down, the token balance is spiking. That means somebody is buying it. And there's a spike, a little bit of a spike from smart money. Public figures not doing much, that's fine. You're usually not going to see much activity from them. And some whales are buying as well. So, the whales were actually buying on May 3rd, but they're also buying some here recently. So let's look at May 3rd and see what happened. I'm just curious. I'm just giving it a second to load here. Sometimes it does take a while. It has to load all of this. And by the way, I had completely forgotten about this. You got all these cards right here on the right side that you can just quickly look at. I think it's got it. Let's see, top P&L, fresh wallets. I don't think the top 100. Yeah, I don't see the top 100 wallets on here, but that's fine. You can still click into holders beta. So anyway, what was it, May 3rd? I already forgot what it was now. I think it was May 3rd. So there was a big spike in activity right here. Somebody was accumulating tokens, and now they're accumulating tokens again. So if we go back to holders beta, the new dashboard, and then we go back to whales, yeah, there it was right there. Huge increase in volume. I mean, it was just like, there was hardly any whales in this at all. Like, look right here, there was one holder, and it spiked. Two different new holders bought a bunch of it. And this is how you dissect this, right? You just jump between these, the net flows or whatever. You just kind of, there was that huge spike. So you just jump through these net flows or number of holders or balance. You click these different cards and you finally start putting a story together to find out if you want to buy this token. It's really not that hard. It just, we're going through it. It's taking a little while to go through it. But really powerful token net flow. But also, once you find a token you want to look at, definitely look at this holders new dashboard, because this is very powerful as well. And then, like we talked about before, the candlestick inspector here. And you can, like you can see back here on the Candlestick Inspector, if you click this first little pump, when I first got that alert on my Discord for this token, and you can see what tokens, like right there, see this one's tagged, a green tag, that means I have it saved on my watch list. So you're seeing right here, it's a meme coin expert, and I knew that they were early on Jailstool a long time ago. Their win rate's not great over the last 90 days, but that's fine. You can see their P&L over the last 90 days, 320K, that's good. Looks like they've moved a lot of their money off to a different wallet, but this wallet still has 86K net worth. We track a lot of wallets that are over 1 million or 10 million as well. There's some that even have 100 million in them, but they move the money back and forth as well. So this one that bought it is still holding on to it. They hold 100% of their tokens. But you can click through to their wallet and get a lot more information. And we'll go over more of that in the future. What else do I want to show you? We don't have any top signals yet for Bitcoin. I just want to talk about macro real quick. We're waiting for Bitcoin dominance to start dropping. Once it gets below this blue line in that red area, we'll have a huge alt season. And at the same time, ETH Bitcoin pair will start pumping. And you can see right there, it's trying to break through already. And when ETH Bitcoin pair is pumping, that means that ETH is as well. And there it is right there. There's a big ETH. Well, actually it happened back here, didn't it? Or no, that was 2020. Sorry, I'm not on the daily. Yeah, here's that pump right there. This happened on May 8th. So it's 20 days ago. So there's a little bit of an indecision right now into this resistance area, but we know that we need ETH to get going for alts to go, right? But we still got a higher low right there from this one. And so I would expect this to start climbing up as well. We kind of talked about Bitcoin, just holding this line, or it's going to come back down here one more time before the next pump. I'm still expecting October 2025 could be the top, but I'm not opposed to thinking that the summer could just be sideways for the most part and building that momentum. And then, maybe August, September, October, we have the start of the pump, and then it lasts into December or maybe even early 2026. So there's a couple different scenarios there that could happen for sure. I think that's all I'm going to show you. I want to keep this fairly short. We're at about 35 minutes now. So let's just go ahead and shut this down. We'll do another one soon. There's just so many features on Nansen that I could show you, like just in general. You can look at what large caps are being accumulated over the last 7 days. If you have time, and this is by Smart Money, by the way, if I clicked off Smart Money, it would give you a completely different view, for retail. But I would highly recommend, Nansen is the way that I was able to accumulate a lot of tokens cheaply and sell them at a good time because I have alerts set up. If you want that, if that's something that's interesting to you, definitely go below in the, I'll show you here. Let me bring up one of my YouTube videos and I'll show you exactly where it's at. So in the description below, and some of you already know where that's at, but in the description below, I do have a 10% off link that you can use. So you have to, if you're going to do this, please make sure you use that discount. You don't want to miss out on getting that discount. So let me show you. Give me 1 second. I'm just bringing it up off screen here. Yeah, here we go. So this is one of the things we do for our members. Each week we have an insider, talking about altcoin pump timing, and have a Q&A to where people can ask questions, things like that. But you can see down here, I think it's down here. I guess I forgot to put it on that one. Hang on 1 second. Okay, I think it's on this one. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So right here, you can see, here's our Discord access. Here's the Nansen 10% discount link. Money I didn't talk about, but it's good for, you know, if you want to track alpha hunters on X, it's very easy to do that way. We found some 100X, 200X moves using Money. And then the AI trading view indicator that you see on some of my charts like this one, that'll tell you when the, you know, buy and sells are happening. The way you get access to a 7-day free trial of that is by clicking on this bottom one right here. So anyway, there's all 4 links for you there if you're interested. If you're not, that's fine. It's just for people that want it. And I hope this was informational to you. I hope it helped you out. I highly recommend doing it if you have any time at all. And if you don't have time, then just join our Discord and we do all that for you. Okay, well, I'm gonna end it there. Hope y'all have a good rest of your week. We'll do another one of these next week, and we'll just keep learning how to use Nansen better and better. All right, take care.